Hey everybody, it's Innovision! Today, Microsoft held their 2025 Xbox Games Showcase, and whoa, it was a monster blaster! The details are coming in hot as Microsoft has officially revealed the details around Project Kennen, also known as the Xbox branded handheld gaming PC. For the last several months, there have been so many rumors about this device, but today we know what it's all about. In today's video, I'll be sharing the confirmed device specs along with my initial thoughts and impressions on the two devices that were announced today. Stick around because we've got some valuable insight to share with you today and you don't want to miss any of it. Project Kennen, or what we now know as Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X, will be available this holiday season. There will be two models. A white one, which is known as the Xbox Ally, that targets 720p gaming, and a black model known as Xbox Ally X, which targets 1080p gaming. The Xbox Ally will ship with Windows Home, and it will include an AMD Ryzen Z2A processor. Now, this Z2A is based on the same APU that we find in the Steam Deck, which is kind of interesting here. It seems kind of obsolete, I feel like, at least for as far as handhelds are concerned, but it does include some new AI features, and I'm curious to see how that's going to help benefit this handheld. But again, we already know that the Steam Deck handles 720p gaming just fine, so maybe that's okay here. It'll ship with 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 meg 2280 SSD. This is an awesome design decision. We can just pop in a full-size NVMe SSD. Now it's going to have the same 7-inch screen that we have on our ROG Ally devices. I have more to talk about that in a little bit. And it's going to use AMD Radeon RDNA graphics, and it'll include a 60 watt-hour battery. Two USB 3.2 ports with a 3.5mm audio jack and a micro SD reader. It'll include Wi-Fi 6E, which is great. You can hit more than a gig per second download speeds depending on your Wi-Fi. As we mentioned earlier, it'll be launching this holiday season. The Xbox Ally X, also shipping with Windows 11 Home, will include the AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor. This is awesome because we know that it's going to have similar performance to the other high-end AI Strix Point processors we've seen in some of the other third-party gaming handhelds. It's going to include 24 gigs of DDR5 memory and a 1TB 2280 NVMe SSD, which is also upgradable. And then again, this decision, which kind of puzzles me, they're going to be using the same 7-inch screen that we see here on the ROG Ally devices. It's going to have an AMD Radeon RDNA 3 iGPU, and it's going to have an 80 watt-hour battery. So you can definitely have some longer gameplay sessions there. It has similar I/O ports to the Xbox Ally. The noticeable difference is that one of the ports is upgraded to a USB 4 USB Type-C port, which means that it can support eGPUs and peripherals like that. Also will have Wi-Fi 6E and also be available holiday of 2025. The most notable features these devices bring to the table is first and foremost a Windows-based SteamOS-like big picture mode gaming experience. In fact, the UI looks like a fusion between the Xbox UI and the UI from the Xbox app that we see on Windows PCs. I've also heard the Xbox team is actually making changes to the Windows source code to make this happen. One such change has been paring down the Windows 11 bloat. For example, I've been reading that they've been able to reduce the RAM utilization by 2 gigs, and they even have further reductions in mind. And this is made possible because this new Xbox big picture mode or Xbox desktop environment doesn't actually load the Windows 11 environment. It just loads the very basic things that these handhelds need to run, and they're ready to go. Allegedly, you could boot into a full Windows desktop experience, but I don't know what's going to happen once you're in that mode. Will it still operate this kind of lean and mean OS and kernel? I don't think so, but we'll see once we have the device in our hands. This new Xbox experience will also give you the ability to load third-party apps like Steam or Epic Game Store apps. I haven't seen how it works yet, but I can't wait. This desktop environment is by far the feature I am most hyped about. Not only will we get a SteamOS-like gaming experience where things are lean and mean and down to the basic functionality we need, but you'll also have the widest range of compatibility that we don't see on SteamOS today. And this could be totally game-changing and life-changing as a handheld gamer. The other noteworthy features here are the built-in controller ergonomics and the built-in tilt in the display providing neck ergonomics. The team has obviously spent a great deal of research and development to create a device that will be comfortable for long gameplay sessions, and it's backed by an 80 watt-hour battery. Now, for some of the features I'm a little taken back by. First and foremost, I'm trying to understand why they chose to go with this 7-inch screen like the one we see on the ROG Ally and ROG Ally X. This screen is nice. I'm not trying to take anything away from this screen, but me personally, I prefer at least an 8-inch screen. I'm no spring chicken, and if I'm looking at these smaller screens, my eyes seem to go cross-eyed after a little while. The other thing is, this screen's a few years old now, and so it might start to really show its age by the time this device ships. And so I don't know if this is meant, to complete any kind of long-term play. I feel like the reason they chose to go with this 7-inch screen could be related to the fact that, Asus has already been making devices with this screen, so there's not going to be a lot of research and development needed to make this screen and to scale it up and to manufacture it. And so that means they can ship several units and they didn't have to spend more money to figure out that part. And this might also be a way for them to get to market quicker with this device. And this makes sense, given that the cost of the Z2 based APUs are going to be anywhere between 20 to 30% more expensive. This is a way for them to bring the cost back down if they don't have to go reinvent the whole display technology. The other design decision that I'm puzzled about is why they chose to go with 24 gigs of RAM. I feel like this doesn't scale well in time. We're going to hit a point where some of the newer AAA games, 2 to 3 years from now, will not be able to run on these devices as efficiently. Like, I know they're going to reduce the amount of bloat and RAM utilization of the OS by providing this Xbox experience. There's only so much you can do. Like, for example, Oblivion Remastered requires at least 16 gigs of RAM and at least 8 gigs of VRAM. So right out the gate, that game is going to be pushing this device to its limits. To be completely honest with you, I wouldn't even consider the Xbox Ally model. This whole discussion is catered around the Xbox Ally X model. The decision to roll with 24 gigs of RAM in the high-end model is also likely a cost-saving decision. They haven't announced anything related to pricing yet, but my gut feeling is it's targeting the sub $1,000 price range, and it's probably going to resemble what we see for the pricing of the ROG Ally X devices today. Another critical piece of all of this, it seems like all the technology leading into this Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X, especially from the software perspective, the intention here is that Microsoft and the Xbox team will continue to march forward with these improvements and possibly target future devices. So it does look like it's going to be a certain device certification, and so other OEM developers of handheld gaming PCs like Lenovo, I don't know if they will because they just launched some products that use SteamOS, but the point here is that other hardware manufacturers can apply for this kind of specification and ship devices that allow for this Xbox gaming experience. And this fits in with Microsoft's bigger picture of Xbox everywhere. That's this initiative they've been working on for the last several years, especially pushing with the cloud technology. Certain TVs can just run Xbox streaming natively, for example. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is part of a multi-year effort. And recently, Microsoft even announced that they're going to postpone working on their pure Xbox gaming handheld. And I think that's a wise decision. And that means they must see Valve and Steam as real competition here, and they don't want to lose their footing. To be quite frank with you, Xbox Game Pass is the crown jewel of Windows gaming, and I don't want to lose the ability to play Game Pass. As soon as the device is available, I know I'm getting the Xbox Ally X model. I just want to see what it's all about. I want to experience the software, and I will let you all know what I think about it. I can't wait to see a device that has an 8-inch screen running this operating system. That would be the thing that makes me the happiest kind of gamer. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, stick around, because you don't want to miss all the amazing gaming tips, tricks, and mods we've got coming down the pipeline.